Let's welcome in the former Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, T.W. Shannon, and former Trump campaign aide and political analyst Rick Gates. President Biden has had a really challenging couple of days. First, the president skips 9/11 ceremonies on the East Coast. Then yesterday afternoon, instead of using 9/11 to unite Americans, the president did this. Take a look.
Today, we can look across the country and around the world and see anger and fear in places many of you have been stationed before. A rising tide of hatred and extremism and political violence. It's more important than ever that we come together around the principle of American democracy, regardless of our political backgrounds. We must not succumb to the poisonous politics of difference and division.
All right, Rick, I'm wondering if you caught that there. On a day when Islamic extremist terrorists killed almost 3,000 Americans, and countless, by the way, since September 11th, 2001, the president thought it was a good idea to talk about extremism at home and abroad. Did you catch that?
Yeah, Rob, this is very unfortunate. I think these are incredibly irresponsible remarks by the president. I mean, just as you said, the last 48 hours for him have been an absolute train wreck, and he absolutely showed a lack of empathy for the families that lost loved ones in 9/11, cracking jokes, being 4,300 miles away. I mean, look, I've planned presidential visits. This was deliberate. They could have had him in New York. They could have had him in D.C. For any of these ceremonies. I think this, and as well as his comments, go to show that his staff are not handling them properly. They had the ability to unite the country yesterday with his remarks, and he absolutely failed. In some respects, he's more of a threat than some of these extremists in our country.
TW, here he was yesterday at Alaska talking about 9/11 and how he claims he was at Ground Zero on September 12th. Take a listen.
22 years ago today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ground Zero in New York. And I remember standing there the next day and looking at the building. I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell.
All right, TW, archives show that on September 12th, 22 years ago today, he was in D.C. He was not in New York City.
Yeah, this is terrifying. I mean, either the guy is a liar or he's gotten to such a, diminished mental capacity that it's become a national security threat. Both are bad options for the country. It's bad for the Democrat Party, and it's especially a bad look on 9/11. Listen, I remember 9/11 just like the rest of America does, and it's not a time for cracking jokes. It's a time that we should be serious about the security of America. It should be a time when we look back about uniting America, and this president failed to do that. I mean, you've got him over. Look even at his other speech he did where he was in Vietnam, one of our most important allies in that region, and the president failed. He failed to reassure that country that has China in its backyard that the United States is strong. The reason America doesn't look strong is because Joe Biden doesn't look strong. It's time for him to step down.
Yeah, worth noting, by the way, he wasn't there on 9/13, 9/14, 9/15, or 9/16 either. President Bush was there on 9/14, and search and rescue efforts were still underway, so they didn't want people down there for political reasons touring the devastation after 9/11, especially in the immediate aftermath. I was thinking about this. Go ahead, TW.
It's certainly possible that he was, hanging out with the Puerto Ricans in Delaware where he was raised. Remember that. He's also raised by Puerto Ricans. I mean, this guy, there's no ends. There's no means to the ends of what he will say and won't say for political gain. This was an outrage, and every victim of 9/11 should be outraged about it.
This clip, TW, was everywhere yesterday, and it's George W. Bush. He's got the bullhorn. He's standing on the wreckage of 9/11 just a day and a half after this all happened. And I want to play it again just so we can show you what a commander-in-chief is supposed to do. Joe Biden is terrible at the easiest parts of the job. This is George Bush 22 years ago getting it right. Take a look.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
All right, so Rick, that gives me chills. It gives me chills. Not only could Joe Biden not do that, he had a chance yesterday to take 9/11 and use it as a great opportunity to unite Americans. Right after this happened, the crowd there, first responders, firefighters, police officers, family members, they all, and I'm getting choked up now. They all started cheering USA, USA, USA. And it gives me chills thinking about it 22 years ago. And a week after that, 2 weeks after that, I should say, he threw out the first pitch at the World Series, and now I'm getting chills at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And George Bush, again, here's something that Joe Biden physically would be incapable of doing. How big a missed opportunity, Rick, was this to you yesterday?
Well, massive. There's no question. And it comes down to situational awareness. I mean, again, I fault Joe Biden's handlers a lot for this. They had an opportunity, a rare opportunity, in a much more polarized political environment than back in 2001 when 9/11 happened. And if you look at that moment that you just showed with George Bush, I don't care if you were Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, whatever, everybody at that moment united together for the good of our country. And that is what lacked yesterday, and you didn't have it. And that's going to hurt Biden moving forward.
I know you said the handlers. I appreciate that point, and
Final
but
thought,
I want to agree with you there. It is the president. Joe Biden was very clear on day one. The buck stops with him. And on the anniversary of 9/11, the buck stops with the commander-in-chief. He had an opportunity to unite this country, and he failed to do it, just like he's failed to unite this country by securing our border, by keeping Chinese fentanyl out of the country. This president has failed again. It's not just the handlers. Your point is well taken.
He's not mentally capable to be able to do these. He's not situationally aware of what's going on.
Yeah. Rick, just
fair.
a quick question to you. Do you think that this was deliberate on his team to not have him be in D.C., to not have him be in New York, to specifically have him be in Alaska so it's a little bit more of a controlled setting, and he's not with family members where Ground Zero was? Do you think this was intentional?
1,000%. This is the presidency of the United States. This is the White House. They can be anywhere at any moment that they want. This was deliberate. They chose not to be there. We got to dig into the reasons why. It could be multiple reasons. But at the end of the day, they could have had him in New York or D.C. if they wanted. They didn't. That's on them.
You want proof that Joe Biden's not in charge? This is the press conference. Obviously, a lot of our attention was, as it should be, focused on 9/11 yesterday. Sunday morning, Joe Biden holds this press conference in Vietnam, communist country. He's there to talk about climate change, and his microphone is cut off at the end of the press conference. And then they start playing like Bird, like John Coltrane, like soft coffee house jazz starts playing. The president puts the mic down and then meanders off stage. If I were to ask you 10 years from now, who's the first American president not to take part in 9/11 ceremonies on the East Coast, I guarantee you 10 out of 10 people would say, that was probably Joe Biden, right? Yeah, it was Joe Biden yesterday. And you know what? Fine. He got us out of Afghanistan. He ended the war so we could have the big ceremony on the 20th anniversary of September 11th. That was a total debacle. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But you know what he did yesterday? He also set a new precedent, the first American president not to care about families that are grieving just 22 years after this tragedy that changed the world and changed America forever. We'll pick this back up top of the hour. Rick Gates, TW Shannon, thank you. Let's